Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, we reached 700 days in JP, so let's have a look at my account. This will be the last show and tell that I do before our second anniversary, which will be next month. And it got cold all of a sudden, so I'm wearing a tie and jacket for the first time in a while. I thought I would show it off to you. And then back behind me is another navy blue blazer from Brooks Brothers. The difference between the one I'm wearing and the one back there, this is a worsted wool, and then the one back there is a woolen fabric, a flannel. That one I found in a thrift store, and it was pretty close to my size, but it does need some alteration, so hopefully I can get that ready for winter. But lately I've been watching a lot of James Bond films, and it's kind of re-inspired me to make me think again about my fashion channel that I'd like to start for YouTube. But anyway, let's talk about War of the Visions. 700 days was actually last week, but there were some things that I was finishing up, and they are done now, so I think now is a good time to stop and then do the show and tell. And in case anyone feels left behind watching this, I feel left behind with this account. It's not become a whale and then suddenly feel great about your account. You never feel good about your account. And then after we look at my account, I wanted to talk about something. I wanted to talk about a video that I've been wanting to make for a while, but kind of haven't been able to finalize a script because I don't think I have an answer. So instead I'll just ask some questions at the end of the video. Alright, but let's go from the bottom as usual. Vision cards, I guess big news here is that I finished Bahamut. This was very cool. I actually haven't needed it all this time, so that's fine. It would have been nice maybe for the light selection quests, but we have the EX stage coming to the light selection quests later this month, so that would be cool to use in there. And then otherwise I'm working on these guys. A couple of water cards, which would be good for like Miranda and then Rachis and stuff. Okay. And then we have equipment. Haven't been doing a lot of crafting because I am low on books. But I just crafted this last night, the black garb. This will give nice evade and then also defense penetration. That could be good for Halloween Federica, especially if I use her with Kiton, since she's going to be using the Santa clothes. I need another high evade piece of equipment. I would like to craft more, but yeah, just need to farm those books. Okay, finally, let's talk about units. I've been working on a lot of guys recently, and I guess it started with Rosa taking her to EX jobs. She's been great at EX jobs, so very happy about that. And then along with her was Kine. There he is, fully awakened, so I can take him to 120. I just need to get his unit levels up. But yeah, that was me kind of stretching a bit for nostalgia's sake. And then also for the fact that I have kind of a dark emphasis on this account. But yeah, whereas September, I was kind of going hard on Arena. The end of September and then all through October, I've been working harder on selection quests. So that's a lot more units that I have to awaken, and then EX and stuff, so that was a lot of materials. But just a lot of characters I've been working on recently. And I guess the most notable ones are Gilgamesh, and then Dwayne. They are part of my Cost 100 completion project. And then since I'm more or less done with these two, whenever I pull Jaden, I think I will work on him. Again, I'm not going to pull for the Fest units outside of just the discounted pulls there, so unless I get very lucky, then Jaden might be the last Cost 100 unit that I work on for a while. Setia, she would be great for my account, again with a fire focus. She would be, I hate to say it, kind of an improvement over Christmas Mashiri, but if I had Mont there for tanking, and then Mashiri there for magic damage, and then Setia for physical damage, that would be a pretty well-rounded team that I could take pretty much against anybody but water. But I don't want to pull the Fest, so I will just have to skip her and then keep using Christmas Mashiri or possibly Eride. But yeah, Dwayne, he's always been kind of a mythical unit to me. I skipped him in Global and JP when he came out. And then it took me like 4 months to pull him, just randomly from the standard hatcher. And then even after I pulled him, I just kept putting him off lower priority than all the other characters I was working on. But finally, his turn came after Gilgamesh, and I was able to take him to 120. I've fought him a lot, so I'm familiar with him, but it feels weird to have my own copy of him. But yeah, he's going to be a pretty important piece for my account, again, because I have the dark emphasis. And then that will kind of help me segue into talking about the video that I've been wanting to make for a while, and that is account building. I've spoken now and then about golden time in mobile games, and then that account building video would be like part 2 of that. Like if and when the game enters that time, when all elements and all attack types are viable and have like a strong PvP team that's viable, how should we approach account building at that point? I know the answer for like how new accounts should build their account. That is to focus on like foundational pieces, like tanks, healers, attackers, time mages, and then vision cards that have the universal buffs. But what happens with an account that reaches that foundational state after like 6 months or a year or whatever? Then you kind of apply that mode of thinking to each element. You want, within lightning, tanks, time mages, healers, attackers, that kind of thing. And I guess the question that I'm struggling with is like, how many elements should we focus on? And like, that answer is going to be different for free-to-play users, dolphins, and whales. The Ultimate Whale account would have a very robust team or setup for like every element, but I'm not going to aim for that. That would be very expensive. I could see it maybe happening naturally over time, like maybe over 5 years, if you just keep, going at this pace. But like we look at my account, I have an emphasis on, dark and fire. And this mostly happened organically. I just kind of went for characters that I liked and then just thought about the elements later. But like with so many other games that I play, I just kind of gravitate towards black and red. But I think one thing that I can say for sure, as a piece of advice for everyone, is that everyone should pick, light and or dark as an element to focus on for kind of 2 big reasons. One, because they are the most versatile elements, and then 2, because from the developer's point of view, there's so much focus on these elements. They've released many units and vision cards and equipment, and then missions and quests and things to tailor to dark and light. So I think it's a good idea for everybody to do at least one of these 2. But yeah, I'm wondering like what to say to like more hardcore players or to more spendy players. How many elements should they go? Like maybe one way to go about it is to pick one element and then kind of work on it until you have like, a good PvP team, a good solid well-rounded PvP team, and then move on to another element and start working on that. Or maybe pick 2 and work on them at the same time. Or like pick like 1 or 2 elements and just say my account is going to be these elements forever, and just skip everything else that is not those 2 and then get everything that is those 2. Or just not worry about elements at all and then play like how we all did like the first 6 months to a year. And like it was easy for me to make that Golden Time video because Golden Time is on the horizon for all mobile games. But the thing is that it looks different in every mobile game. And then for games with like a strong PvP aspect, which are kind of rare among Japanese mobile games, it looks, totally different. And so I didn't know what to say or like what advice to give, or like I didn't have any answers. And so I guess I'll just, toss the ball to you. What do you think about my idea of like everybody choosing either light and dark? And then what, how many elements should we focus on? Depending on like what level of spending or what level of play we are doing. And then my final thought is that there's one ace hidden up the sleeve of the developers that they have not played yet, and that is to release high-level PvE content where you need like specific elements in order to clear it. And this is something that happens in like all mobile games, so we all know it's coming. It's just a matter of when. What'll be interesting to see is if they limit it so you can only use characters of that element, like with a selection quest, or if they give just a gigantic advantage to the quote-unquote right element characters. And then it'll also be interesting to see what the community's response is to the introduction of those high difficulty PvE content. I'm sure there will be a bunch of people calling it whales-only territory, a cash grab to make you pull for the new units and build them quickly, a speed up and power creep, a widening of the gap between paid and then free-to-play users, which it will be at first, but the way that power creep works in these games is that kind of the whales have the first crack at the new high difficulty PvE and those rewards, but over the months, whether through craftable equipment or handout units or handout vision cards, it will lower the difficulty of that high-level PvE, and then everybody will be able to clear it eventually. So yeah, it's going to be really fascinating when that content finally rolls around. I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen it yet, but the MR and lower rarity selection quests have kind of kept those at bay for now. Okay, that'll do it for this video. That was a look at my account after 700 days, and then some kind of preliminary thoughts on long-term account building. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.